Hey, what's going on today, guys? The Silph Arena has announced the next cup. It is going to be the Tempest Cup for March. And what we're looking at, the types that we can use here are electric, ice, flying, and ground. And of course, as always, only one of each Pokemon species is permitted on the team. And then if we look, it's going to be in the Great League, as always. So I've kind of started putting together a little some options over here of what I kind of like for the Tempest, just to give you some ideas of at least what to start with. If we go to the pvpoke.com, we've got some what they're listing here. We've got Lapras, Rhyperior, Piloswine. I know Mamoswine is also in there. It should be maybe a little bit lower. There's Mamoswine. I kind of like just looking at Mamoswine. Powder Snow, Avalanche, Ancient Power. I think Ancient Power kind of gives it the edge over Piloswine. Piloswine does have Powder Snow, Avalanche, and Stone Edge. I think Stone Edge is just a... it takes a lot longer to charge, but it would be good for like a closer or anything like that. Like they say, it is one of the top closers. Piloswine may be better though, because its HP is gonna be higher, because obviously just because of the way the CP works and everything. So if we look, so those are kind of ones we haven't used. Sealeo, Wailerin, Tropius has been a top one in the Great League. I think it's going to struggle a little bit here because of how much ice there is. We've got Wishcash, which we've used before in Boulder Cup, so you may already have one of those. I think it's going to be another solid option. May need to change moves on it, but honestly, you know, it's kind of up to you on that. I think Swampert's going to be pretty good. Swampert, Marsh Stomp, like we used before in the Boulder Cup. Lanturn is a new one. I've already powered one up. You can see I've got it right here with Charge Beam, Thunderbolt, and Hydro Pump. Let's see what their Thunderbolt, Hydro Pump is pretty much the... and they do have Water Gun. I need to double check Charge Beam versus Water Gun. Water Gun may be better in this cup because there will be a lot of things it hits. But the main thing... Lanturn is going to do well against your ice water types because they still get hit super effective by all your electric moves, and then their water and ice moves in turn are negated. Basically, it's going to be not as much damage, obviously. So if we look at Lapras, they're running it mainly with Water Gun or Ice Shard. And then Surf, Ice Beam, which is a legacy move. Ice Shard is also a legacy move. Blizzard, Dragon Pulse, and Hydro Pump. I do have a Lapras. Fortunately, I don't have a Lapras that's low enough to be in the Great League with the Ice Beam. So I've got Ice Shard, Dragon Pulse on this one right now. Just what I had available. It is going to be fairly expensive to invest in because it is 75 candy, 75,000 Stardust to get a second attack. That may be a turnoff for a lot of people. Actually, I kind of like Sealeo here. Right now he's got Water Gun and Water Gun. Powder Snow is the second move option there. And we've got Body Slam, which is actually one I'm super excited about that it has. And then Aurora Beam. So that is going to be, I think the Body Slam is definitely going to be a good move to have. I'm glad it's an option for that one. It's going to get off moves very quickly, which means it is going to be a pretty solid lead Pokemon there because of how quickly. I think it's only 35 energy for Body Slam, and I think it does. It just got buffed, so I'm trying to remember if it's 60 or 70 now. Somebody can put that in the comments what it is. Quagsire, you can see that was one that Boulder Cup. I'm still not 100%. It may do better this time. We've got Mud Shot, Water Gun, Stone Edge, and Sludge Bomb. I think it's just a slower option compared to some of your other ones, but What it does have, the Sludge Bomb is actually going to be useful this tournament because there are some grass types in here. We've got Tropius and Abomasnow. And Abomasnow is one I want you to look at because I think it will be halfway decent in this tournament. It does have to watch out for any fire attack, but luckily that's not something that's available a lot. Let's see if we can find Abomasnow. Maybe way down here. Not that low. I guess I could search for it, right? No, there it is. Totally missed it. So it has Razor Leaf, Powder Snow, and then it has Outrage, which actually I was surprised whenever I saw that was an option for it. Blizzard and Energy Ball. You could run any of those that you wanted to. Keep in mind it is going to be, obviously, it's going to be weak to the fire, which is why it's some of the top ones are Ho-Oh, Moltres, and Charizard. I don't even know. You can get a Moltres. I don't think you can get a Ho-Oh in the Great League right now. But its key matchups obviously are Wishcash or Swampert, Marshtomp, Rhyperior, Railoran. So there you go. And it dominates those. Marshtomp, it totally dominates. Let's click on that battle and see what we're doing here. Oh. So with Razor Leaf, because Razor Leaf did just recently get buffed, so it is doing quite a bit, and it's got Energy Ball, Outrage on this one. It's going to win no matter what, it looks like. So something to keep in mind, because, yeah, Mudshot's not going to do anything to it. So very interesting. And look how much Razor Leaf is doing. It's doing 26 each time. I think you're going to want an Abomasnow. So be on the lookout for Abomasnow for sure. So let's see what else we got. We got Dugong. Steelix is one that I was kind of looking at. I've already built up a Steelix, so here's my Steelix that I've got. Let's see. It is going to have problems. So Lanturn, Sealeo, Lapras, Wishcash. So some of the water and ice types there. Water, electric as well. I think Lanturn is going to be a solid choice for the cup. Just looking at the pre-stuff, I think it's going to be pretty solid. It's going to give you options against pretty much everything that's in the cup. It's going to struggle against ground types a little bit because of the electric typing, but it is going to be good against any of your flying types, except for if they're dragon flying. It's not going to be a good option there. I just don't know if the dragons are going to be good in this cup or not. Altaria would be an option, you know, Flygon. You could use Skarmory is an option again, and it's actually right here. I think it'll do fairly well in this cup as well. Maybe not as dominant as in the Boulder Cup, just because there are a lot more electric options this time. And as you can see over here, I mean, we've got, yeah, the top 5 counters are all electric. Key matchups, though, it is, you know, good against Tropius, Graveler, which is actually fairly usable in this tournament, and Torterra. So, and then you see there's Altaria. We do have one available to us. I actually didn't put it in here yet because I'm actually using it for another tournament that I'm in right now. But Dragon Breath, of course, Sky Attack, Dragon Pulse is what we have been running on that one. You can see a previous video on that one if you'd like, where we covered Altaria in more detail. But I think it is going to be a solid, maybe a solid choice. There's just so many ice types available that I think it is going to struggle. And one, Altaria, it does show on here, Mantine. I actually kind of am interested in Mantine. Here it is. It's lower, so it's a flying water type. Similar to like Gyarados or Pelipper are going to be your other 2 options for a flying water type. It has Bubble, Wing Attack, or Bullet Seed. I think Bullet Seed would be interesting in certain situations, but I think for the most part, I would run the Bubble. It gives you fast energy. And then for charge moves, definitely go with Ice Beam, Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace is going to be a solid choice if you're leading with it. It's going to do a lot of damage, especially to like ground types and any grass types you come up against. Obviously, it's going to struggle against Abomasnow, but it is an option there. You can see Wishcash, Pupitar, Swampert, Quagsire, Camerupt. I don't see Camerupt being an option in this one. It does have fire moves, so that's the only thing I could see. It might be an option, but I'm not 100% sold on that. It's all of its charge moves are fairly, we can actually take a look at it. All of its charge moves are fairly long because it's Overheat, yeah, Earthquake, Solar Beam. So a lot of, not doing a lot with Ember as a fast move. And it has Rock Smash, which actually might be interesting. So this is kind of some of the options. I think Mantine will be one to look at. Alolan, Graveler, and Graveler itself. If I can click on it. It's got Rock Throw, Volt Switch, Rock Blast, Stone Edge, and Thunderbolt. I think I would probably run Rock Blast and then Thunderbolt, just to give me two different options there to hit either hit Ice or Flying. Either of those are going to be super effective against both of those. So in Rock, there was a solid choice. Key matchups, obviously Charizard. I did look at Charizard, and I don't know if I put Charizard on my team. I have not yet. Charizard is an option if it has Blast Burn, and probably Dragon Claw would be the other option I would run on Charizard, but it is going to struggle, I think, in this league just because of how much Rock for sure it's going to struggle against. And there are a lot of options that you can get with Rock type moves. And then you've got Articuno, which I probably, it's an option. I just don't know how well it's going to do. Once again, it's double weak to Rock. Moltres, same thing. Crobat, Cloyster. Cloyster, actually, I was looking at, it may not be half bad. Just depends on what you want to run. Top counters for Alolan, Graveler are your ground and rock types. So Rhyhorn, Rhydon, Rhyperior, and Gastrodon. Let's see what else we got. If you powered up a Alolan Ninetales, that may be an option for this league as well. Definitely very frail, and so Ice, Powder Snow, and then Ice Beam. Probably Ice Beam and Psyshock probably is a better option for this cup. Psyshock's just going to get off charge moves very quickly. Dazzling Gleam doesn't have as much use in this one, and Blizzard is just super long. Gyarados is an interesting one. They're running it here with Dragon Breath, which is a legacy move, or Waterfall for the most part. And then you've got Crunch, Outrage for most of the moves. Dragon Pulse is an option, and Twister also is available. Flygon, I talked about earlier. Cloyster, Ice Shard, Avalanche, and Hydro Pump. Not a super great option. I did look at Jinx a little bit. It's interesting in that it gets, so we've got Frost Breath or Confusion. Either one would be good. And then Ice Punch, which I do have quite a few with Ice Punch, I think. So that may be an option. And then you've got Psyshock or Focus Blast. Dragon Kiss probably doesn't have a use in this tournament. Magneton, of course, it needs Thunder Shock and probably Discharge to make it worthwhile. Those are both legacy moves. Luxray with Spark or a bunch of hidden powers if you want one of those. Crunch and Wild Charge. One I did look at that's kind of interesting is, it's probably going to be Raichu is interesting to me. Just Thunder Shock is a legacy move, so if you can get that, great. It also has Brick Break, which is going to be fairly quick charging and going to hit pretty hard in this, especially against ice types. So something to keep in mind there. And then you've got Thunder Punch, which very quick move as well. Doesn't hit as hard as Wild Charge, but Wild Charge does take a little longer to do. Raichu was one I just kind of looked at as an option. Charizard, Weavile, let's see if we got any more. Donphan. Now we're kind of, I've got Gligar so Gligar is right there right now. This one doesn't have an optimum. It's got Fury Cutter, Night Slash, and then probably Aerial Ace would be the other one you'd run. Not sure how good it would do in this cup. I think it might do okay. Obviously, it's going to struggle against all of the ice types. So that is one key thing that's going to keep a lot of your flying types out of this cup. Is just there are a lot of ice types that are very, very good. I think, so if we go back to my list, you might ask, why do I have Staraptor on here? Because it has access to a fire type move. I'm trying to find something that has a good fire type move. This one doesn't. I think it's a Fire Blast, so it's a very long charging move. Probably not a good option, but I've got it just in case. I want to test it out. And it's cheap to unlock a second move on it. It's got Brave Bird, the Fire Blast, and some other move. Of course, we've talked about Steelix already. I think that's a solid option. You've got Flygon with Dragon Tail, Dragon Claw. Of course, we have our Marsh Stomp again, Mud Shot, Mud Bomb, and Surf. Always a solid option of Surf. Lanturn, talked about already, Charge Beam, Thunderbolt, and Hydro Pump. Wishcash, which we used in Boulder Cup, Mud Shot, Blizzard, Mud Bomb. You could change Blizzard in this cup to Surf, or not Surf, sorry, Water Pulse. Water Pulse isn't as good as Surf though on Marsh Stomp, so that is one thing. Then we've got Skarmory, which is going to be another option that you could use. A lot more counters to it this time, so Air Slash, Sky Attack, and then probably you'll want to have a Steel type move on it as well. So Raichu is just something to look at. Obviously, it does need to have Thundershock, I think, or Spark. Spark isn't as good as Thundershock though on it. Wild Charge, Thunder Punch, or I think Brick Break, Thunder Punch are going to be some good options for it. Just something different to look at. Abomasnow for sure is you're gonna want to look at this one more in depth. It's a good option for the cup. This one I put in there. I'm not 100% sold. So Piloswine, for sure, take a look at it. Its HP is going to be higher than Mamoswine, so that may be one option. Mamoswine does have, if you evolved it on a community day, so if we take a look at it, if you evolved it on a community day, it is going to have Ancient Power, so that is a very solid rock move. It's got Mud Slap, Powder Snow, or for fast moves, and then for charge moves, I'd probably run Avalanche and Ancient Power, I think are the two that I would run on it. Mantine we talked about, Bubble, Aerial Ace, and then Ice Beam probably on that. Xatu, I put on here because I'm not 100% sure, but it has Ominous Wind, so I might check that out and see how it does in some battles. I'm not 100% sold on it, of course. We've got Aerodactyl. Of course, it did get some moves available to it now. I believe it got did it get Ancient Power? Let's look it up. Aerodactyl, not scoring so well on their thing. So Steel Wing, Bite, Rock Slide, that's what it got, and Ancient Power are the ones that it has. Hyper Beam and Iron Head. Definitely. So matchups, Abomasnow, so maybe it's going to be a hard counter to Abomasnow, it looks like. Sandshrew, Rhydon, Mamoswine as well. Let's actually look at the Abomasnow. I'm just curious what it's doing here. So we've got Abomasnow with Powder Snow. Let's change that to Razor Leaf and Energy Ball and just see what that battle looks like now. And there you go, Aerodactyl loses. So, and that's with Aerodactyl hitting a Rock Slide fairly early. Yeah, so probably not a great option. Just something to look at. We do have Dugong. It's got Frost Breath and Aurora Beam. Blah, if I could talk. Sealeo, I think, is going to be a solid option because of the Body Slam. And then I think it has Aurora Beam as well. And Lapras, you do have to have legacy moves on this. Mine has Ice Shard, Dragon Pulse. And so we may run with that set. I'm just not sure if I'm sold on, because it does kind of need Ice Beam, I think, to be the beast that they have on this setting. So if we go Lapras, I mean, it scores very high. So I mean, as a lead, Water Gun, Ice Shard. This one has Ice Shard, so. And then Surf. So it could run Surf, Dragon Pulse. I'm just not sold on it yet. I think Ice Shard is going to be a solid option. Unfortunately, my Ice Beam ones are all over 1500, so that's not going to help me here. So that was just a quick overview of all of our options in the Tempest Cup, and just some that I've started to kind of put together that we'll start running some tests on. Right now we still haven't done our Twilight Cup, so we'll be covering a video on that for sure with at least my team. I'm pretty close on that, and then also once I do the tournament, we'll have a video for that as well, just a recap to show y'all how everything performed. Leave comments below what you guys think might be good in the Tempest Cup. If you guys have looked at anything, maybe some secrets or anything, you guys have seen some cool Pokemon that you think are going to work well, let me know below. This is just to get started at least and kind of see what is good in the format. Leave comments below. If you guys haven't subscribed already, please do that. Our community is growing, and I do hope you guys enjoy these videos that we're making. Thanks again for watching.